So one of the companies that I'm really interested in investing in is Roblox. I've talked about them a little bit on the channel, and recently they had their investor day, which is basically where they tell investors about the vision that they have for the company and how they plan to grow the company moving into the future. And so I decided it's a good time for me to go back in and start studying up on their S-1, which they just released recently because the company is not yet public, and actually understand more about the company, about the way it works. And also I thought it'd just be a good idea to share some of my thoughts with everybody, and then you guys can hold me accountable as well as I decide whether or not I'm going to actually invest in this business. But if you want to learn more about Roblox, let's get this thing started. Whoosh. What's going on, people? It's your boy Kalechi back with another video. If this is your first time around these parts, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy anything that we talk about on this video, hit that like button. Turn that thing blue. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we're going to be talking about the company Roblox. I'm actually just going to go through their S1 so both of us can learn more about that company and you can get into it like I'm doing right now. This is not going to be any financial advice or anything like that. This is just one guy on the internet who found an interesting company that he likes, talking about it and sharing his opinion about that company. But before we get into it, I want you guys to watch this clip on Roblox and about how the company got started.
The story of Roblox begins in 1989 with this simple block. We programmed a 2D simulated physics lab called Interactive Physics, which would later go on to influence our approach to building the groundwork for Roblox. Students across the world used interactive physics to see how two cars would crash or build destructible houses. It was astonishing to see what these kids and teens were designing, and I wanted to replicate that capability on a much grander scale. So with my co-founder Eric, we began building the core components that would become the basis for our imagination platform. Roblox quickly began bringing the world together through the power of play, harnessing players and creators of different ages and backgrounds from all around the world, connected by shared experiences. From China to Brazil to America, the world began to create as one. Friendships were built, and a new form of entertainment was born. The Roblox world is growing faster than ever before. Creators are creating new genres, deeper narratives, and more diverse experiences that are opening up entertainment paths into worlds of play never thought possible. We're enabling the creation of more human forms that allow for greater self-expression, unleashing the limits of the imagination to enable anyone to be who they want to be. We're building a platform for a new generation, one that enables people to create and share experiences through play. Together, we are the architects of play.
So now with that base, you finally understand a little bit about what Roblox is. I like the interesting thing, as it says in the S1, it says that they are a human co-experience. One of the things that I like to see from businesses that I really enjoy is it's a new thing that I'm starting to learn more about. It's kind of a big vision. What vision does the co-founder have for Roblox, or what vision do the founders of a business have for the business? Is it just what they're doing right now, or do they expect to do other things? And one of the interesting things is they don't just see Roblox as a gaming platform. They don't just see Roblox as somewhere where you just play video games, but they see it as a co-experience, a human co-experience. It says in their S1, an average of 36.2 million people from around the world come to Roblox every day to connect with friends. Together they play, learn, communicate, explore, and expand their friendship, all in 3D digital worlds that are entirely user-generated. That's a key word. Built by our community of nearly 7 million active developers. We call this emerging category human co-experience, which we consider to be the new form of social interaction we envisioned back in 2004. Our platform is powered by user-generated content and draws in inspiration from gaming, entertainment, and social media, and even toys. Our Roblox human co-experience platform consists of Roblox Client, the Roblox Studio, and the Roblox Cloud. This breaks down how they operate their business as a whole. Roblox Client is the application that allows users to explore the 3D world, which is what, whenever I sign into Roblox and I want to play Roblox, that's where I'm going to be. Roblox Studio is the tool set that allows developers and creators to build, publish, and operate 3D experiences and other content accessed with the Roblox client. Roblox Cloud includes the services and infrastructure that power our human co-experience platform. All of this to me, you know what Roblox reminds me of? Roblox kind of reminds me of YouTube in the sense of the only reason why YouTube is what it is because it's user-generated content. Like YouTube is as big as it is because it is user-generated content. The only thing is, unlike YouTube, Roblox actually provides the tools for developers to be able to create the games that they're putting on the platform. It reminds me of kind of TikTok. TikTok is a platform where anybody can pick up their smartphone, download the TikTok app, and start recording their face and add different things within the app. The app is so powerful. You can edit in it. You can do all kinds of things within TikTok. And so it's the same way with Roblox, where the reason why Roblox is going to continue growing is if it can attract more and more users, whether it's developers, but also player bases as well. Just like on TikTok, the more people it can get to create on TikTok, or like YouTube, the more people that can create on YouTube and make content from YouTube, the more it can fill up the pipelines. It's the same way with Roblox. And of course, Roblox has its own cloud server, which is very impressive to me that they're not dependent on Amazon Cloud or Amazon Web Services or Google or Azure or any of these other cloud services. They're doing everything in-house, which might also be an issue with the fact of cost. And we'll just see how they talk about that moving into the future. So there are 8 key characteristics that make up everything that Roblox wants to do. Whenever they're making anything, this is how they think through everything. The first is identity, which is basically how people see themselves. It's how they create their avatars within Roblox. They can make themselves however they want to be, whatever they want to be. Just think of Ready Player One and how they all had characters and avatars within the game. So that's the first one. It's a way for people to express themselves. The second part of Roblox is friends. Community is important to Roblox, and they talked about it during the investor day over and over and over. The fact that community is important and the fact that protecting the community is so important. They spend a lot of money to ensure that they're protecting, especially because there's a lot of children on these platforms. They're making sure that the children are safe. The children are safe on the platform. So friends, immersion, friends and talking with friends and hanging out and having that community aspect is big for Roblox. Something that maybe Facebook needs to learn a little bit about. But anyway, immersiveness. In other words, making sure that when you're in the world of this platform, that you are fully engulfed in it. You're fully enjoying yourself within it. And then the fact that you should be able to play from anywhere. They want you to be able to play on any platform at any point in time, no matter what it is. And now they actually have VR experiences as well, which is pretty cool. They want low friction. So think of, you know how Google wants to have this Stadia thing? Roblox actually has that, or is trying to build that out. And because they are fully focused on that, I think they might be able to do it better than anybody else that I've seen so far. And then they also want a variety of content. In other words, they want people from everywhere. Right now, they have over 18 million different experiences on Roblox, which is pretty cool. And then the economy of Roblox. And then they talk about safety again. Like I said earlier, they talked about safety repeatedly. They talked about not monetization, but moderation on the platform, making sure that people are safe. That's not the right word. I don't remember the word to use. But the fact is, they're making sure content moderation. Yeah, content moderation to make sure that people are not just taken advantage of. People are not getting abused on the platform. They are very, very serious about kicking people off if they notice any kind of funny business going on. So that's just the first part of understanding who Roblox is and understanding their business and all the things that play into what Roblox is going to become. So now let's get into the business and what the business is truly about, their actual business model. So it says in their S-1, it says, when users sign up for Roblox, they can create an avatar and explore the vast majority of our experiences for free, which is very important to entice people to get started. A lot of things today has to start off free. Although the business model for any given experience is ultimately up to its developer, most free experiences allow users to spend Robux by purchasing experience-specific enhancements. We'll talk more about Robux in a second. Users can also use Robux to purchase items such as clothing accessories and simulated gestures or emotes from our avatar marketplace. Roblox retains a portion of every Roblox transaction and distributes the rest to the developers and creators. So basically, what are Roblox? Roblox is in-game currencies. Think about if you were playing 2K, 2K has its 2K currencies. If you're playing FIFA, FIFA has its FIFA points, and then it also has FIFA cash. Every single game nowadays has an in-game currency, and the in-game currency for Roblox is Robux. And it's about, I think it's 1 cent is equal to 1 Robux. So if you buy $1 of a Robux, you have 100 Robux. So that's just something to think in mind. And so there are two ways that they make money off of this, off of people buying Robux. Users can purchase Robux in two ways: as one-time purchases or via Robux premiums, a subscription service that is billed monthly. I didn't even know that Roblox had a subscription service, but this is good. I like anything, businesses that have reoccurring revenue is so key. Like, reoccurring revenue is the ultimate version of any kind of subscription service. That's why Apple has the whole subscription service where you can get a new iPhone every single year. When you can get people to continually pay for something, you can count on that revenue. This is why Netflix is valued so highly, because it has that consistent revenue. Something that we have to pay attention to is the way that it makes a very large portion of its money. It says for the 12 months ended December 31, 2019, 30% and 18% of our revenue were generated on Apple App Store and Google Play Store. For the 9 months ended September 30, 2020, 34% and 18% of our revenue were generated on Apple App Store and Google Play Store, respectively. For operations through both the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, we pay 30% of any money paid by users to purchase Robux to Apple or Google as applicable. This is very important. This whole thing is very important. This is why we see the fight between Epic and Apple, is because Epic is like, we're tired of having to pay you guys 30%. This is a large portion of all the revenue that Roblox makes. This plays a huge role as to how much money they can make, and it cuts into a lot of their profits. So everything that's going on with Epic right now, how that whole lawsuit is going, even though they've lost a bunch and now they're in the EU trying to win something back from it, that will play a big role into how Roblox is able to monetize itself moving into the future. So now let's go into a big aspect of Roblox. Roblox is not only itself that's creating content. In the past, when it first appeared on the scenes, the content was being generated by users within Roblox. But now most of the content on the platform is created by game developers that actually use Roblox to create games. So it says that as users purchase and subsequently spend Robux on Roblox, developers receive 70% of Robux spent within their experiences and 70% of Robux spent for items that appear in the studio marketplace. Creators receive 30% of the Roblox spent for their items that appear in the avatar marketplace. So something that is very important for us to keep paying attention to is the fact that Roblox depends on its developers. It depends on its creators. And actually, this is one of the most lucrative splits that I have seen. Google YouTube shares, their split is about 45-55 for YouTube ad revenue. So 55% goes to the creator and 45% is kept by Google. Roblox is 70-30. So 70 is kept by the creators, by the developers of the games, and 30% is kept by Roblox. That's a very generous split, and it's going to actually be willing for more people to be invited to the platform, to be like, hey, you guys are giving us a pretty good deal. We might as well come on your platform and create more games. That's something to be very mindful of and to watch, because Roblox, they said during the investor day that they want that number to actually increase. They actually want that number to be going up over time. So we'll see how that keeps playing out. But it's just interesting to see that they actually care about the people that are enabling them to make the money, which is something that I like to pay attention to, is governance. Is how are you taking care of the people that enable you to make that money? Is one of the reasons why I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of DoorDash or the biggest fan of Uber or any of these other platforms, because there are a lot of people that use their service that can barely get by. I know a lot of people will argue and be like, oh, the flexibility, but in all honesty, if we're paying attention to it, most of the people that use the services like DoorDash, Uber, and all these services are actually not doing the best. They're actually struggling, but that's besides the point. So our business model focuses on investment and growth of the Roblox platform, which we believe will enable the developer and creator community to produce better and more engaging content which in turn will drive more users to our platform over time. Our primary areas of interest are our developer and creator community and the people, technology, and infrastructure required to keep improving the Roblox platform. In other words, it's just like TikTok. TikTok has been working with its creators to make the platform better and better and better. Good platforms works with its creators to ensure that the platform gets better and better and keeps improving. And that's something that they're focused on. That's going to be key in order for Roblox to continue its growth. And so then it goes down to like, what are the key metrics that we need to be paying attention to when we're looking at the company to determine, is the company growing? Is it doing better, or is it failing? And so they say their operating metrics are you can measure their metrics by daily active users, which makes sense, hours engaged, and average bookings per DAU. We'll talk about bookings later on. The main thing you have to pay attention to is, are they growing their daily active users? How long are those active users spending on the site? And then also, how much are people spending? The average bookings per DAU is how much people are buying Roblox. Are people buying Roblox regularly? Don't worry, we'll break all of that stuff down. But first, let's start with daily active users. That's just the number of people on the platform. And as we can see from their graph that they provided on here, it's been growing over time. The biggest thing to pay attention to is the large spike in 2020. Is that spike going to stay? Of course, during the investor day, they said, of course, we're going to see some kind of downturn, but we expect it to continue growing. And they were growing year over year, quarter over quarter. They were seeing more and more daily active users on the platform. As a matter of fact, if you search for the top game, actually just search on the top paid apps on the iPad, it's Roblox. And if you search it on the iPhone, it's Roblox. Roblox is always number one for any in-game app. Like, the amount of money and the amount of time that people spend on Roblox is a lot. It dominates, like literally dominates when it comes to any kind of gaming or social experience app. It's really, really good. But the question remains though, is this going to be something that remains as we head into 2021 and into the future? We don't know what to expect. Or will it be something that we can continue to see growing over time? Or was 2020 just because of the pandemic and everybody was inside all day? Will that number continue to rise with the daily active users? The interesting thing is their daily active users is not just US based, which is good. They are growing outside of the US, and they're growing exponentially, especially in places like Asia Pacific, which is, your China's, and also they're growing very fast in Europe as well. So that's going to be good to see that they're not dependent on just the North American market. A lot of things are heavily dependent on the North American market, and that's good to see. Also, the hours engaged is going up, and there was a massive spike in 2020. Of course, to be expected, everybody was inside, but how is that going to play out once kids start going back and playing sports, when people can be able to do other things as well? So it's going to be very interesting. And then the average bookings is basically every time somebody decides to go to Roblox and they buy Robux, that's called a booking. So if you get like $10 worth of Robux, that means that's $10 booked. However, they don't categorize that as revenue immediately. They put it down as like, this is cash on hand, and then they expense that item throughout the lifetime of the user who bought it. So let's say I bought $10 worth of Robux, but I didn't use all $10 at one time. I spent it from January to December. I spent that $10 from January to December. What they'll do is they will expense that every single month until the end when I use all of it. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're reading the annual reports of Roblox or any of these companies, especially in the Roblox situation, how they expense their money, because a lot of that will go to cash flow. A lot of the numbers for booking is going to be captured as cash on hand because they're not expensing it as a revenue just yet. So that's something to keep in mind when it comes to Roblox. And then it breaks down what bookings are, and we'll just read what they say in the thing. It says, we define bookings as revenue plus the change in deferred revenue during the period and other non-cash adjustments. The change in deferred revenue constitutes the vast majority of reconciling differences between revenue to bookings. Bookings is equal to the amount of virtual currency purchased by users in a given period of time. We use bookings to measure and monitor our business, as we believe it enables an analysis of our performance based on timing of actual transactions with our users and provides a more current indication of trends in our operating results than revenue alone. Basically, what they're saying is, rather than us just counting all of this as revenue and telling you guys that, oh yeah, we have all this money, it's like a more accurate way of knowing if people are spending more money on the platform is after they buy the Robux, how are they spending the money on the platform, rather than something like, if we think about 2K, once you buy the thing in 2K, they don't care how you spend it. It doesn't matter to them. But for Roblox being a platform, they want to see how people are using the base. And then the most important thing is, how is this numbers growing? Are they actually growing? And the interesting thing is Roblox, of course, showing us the numbers from September 30, 2020. They had over 30.1 million daily active users at the end of 2020. It's probably way higher than that when we get the numbers sometime this year for the fourth quarter of 2020, compared to 17.6 million in 2019 and 12.0 million in 2018. So if we even take out the fact that 2020 was kind of like an interesting year in general, and we just compare 2018 and 2019, they've been growing. They've been growing. The most important thing to know about Roblox is also the age group, because is it still just young kids? Because most of us, and most of y'all that are listening to me right now, probably didn't even know about Roblox for the longest time, because it's usually seen as a kid's game. So the question is, are they growing with the kids? Are they able to get out of that under 12 age group? And it seems like the over 13 age group has been growing. It has been growing. As a matter of fact, they make up, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but right now they make up about 44% of their user base. So that is good to see that over 13-year-olds are growing on the platform. In other words, Roblox is growing with its demographic. As a matter of fact, the reason why I haven't started looking at this is because a 15-year-old that I know actually plays Roblox. She creates things for Roblox. She actually has a whole system where she creates for Roblox, but then she also has people that she hires to create content for Roblox. So it can show you just how creative the community can get. And that's why I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. I'm going to look at this company a little bit more. So it's very interesting to see the fact that their age groups are improving, and over 13-year-olds are making up a larger and larger part of Roblox. The other thing that I was paying attention to with Roblox was I went on YouTube and I just searched Roblox, and the biggest names on there were not under 12-year-olds. It was 13-year-olds and older that were carrying out different stories. I like to use YouTube, Twitch, to see how exactly is the player base for this game, to see exactly what's going on with a video game. And that's something you should do. Always find ways, whenever you're looking at any kind of company that you want to invest in, find ways to learn more about the company itself. Whether you use the product yourself, or you have people around you who may use the product, or maybe you go to the ancillary things because you don't feel very comfortable, like I may be biased with what I'm seeing. Go to the ancillaries, find out, go to social media and learn more about what are people talking about. How do people feel about the platform? Do people like the platform? Do people like the things that they're talking about on the platform? Is it actually growing or is it not growing? The last thing that I would just want us to look through is just their financial statements, because it's good to have a story, but it's also important for us to look at the financial statement to see how the company has been doing. Unfortunately, we don't get that much information. We just have 2018's data and 2019's data, and then 9 months in 2020, ending in September, for us to get an idea of how the company has been doing over time. Good thing I like to look for whenever I'm looking at a company's balance sheet is comparing their current cash versus their current liabilities. And Roblox has a pretty nice ratio. It's about a 1-to-1 ratio of debt to cash, or cash to equity ratio, which is about 1. That's good to see. Their long-term debt is basically non-existent, even though it's about 22 million, but still, it's still good to see these numbers. And then from there, we can look at the revenue, and you can see over time, the revenue has been growing from 2018 to 2019. Of course, there was a massive spike in 2020, but you can't really pay attention too much to 2020 numbers, because I don't know what that says about the company as a whole, because it was an off year. It was a weird year in general. So I'm going to be looking at more at 2018 and 2019, and then I want to see what happens 2021 and 2022 as we start coming out of the pandemic period. Also, looking at the net loss. Are they losing less money over time, or are they just continuing to lose the same amount of money? So they're losing less money, but because of 2020 was such a weird year, they had to make all kinds of different investments in Roblox that they ordinarily wouldn't make, but it actually helps spur on faster growth very quickly, because they have to bring on more people, hire on more people to be able to meet the needs of their customers. So those are the things that I'm looking at. Let me know what you guys think about Roblox. And then the last thing that I want to pay attention to is the cash flow. Like we talked about, cash flow from operations, not just cash flow from everything else, operations. As you can see, from 2018 to 2019, there was a slight dip. From 2019 to 2020, there was a bit of an explosion, of course, but it's hard for me to actually pinpoint, is that due just because of the pandemic, or is the business actually growing over time? So that's something we'll just keep paying attention to. For me as a whole, I keep looking at this business. I really like it. I love what the business stands for. The main thing that stood out to me when I was listening on the investor day is the fact that the CEO kept on mentioning Roblox, not just as a gaming platform, but as a learning platform, as an experience platform, as a place where people can gather together to do different things. I mean, one of the things they did on the platform was they had a Lil Nas X concert on there. And to me, that stood out. And so as we move more into this digital era, I think more and more we're going to see more companies like this. And for me, I like the way Roblox handles things. I love to hear the CEO talk. I've spent the last 2 days just literally listening to interviews with the CEO over and over and over and over again. The company was founded in 2004 and then went fully launched in 2007, and then they've been doing well and growing over time. So for me, I'm really interested in this company, and I'll just have to see what happens when they do go public. Now, it's not going to be a regular public IPO that they're going to be doing. They're actually just going to do a direct listing, which makes me feel even that much better. In other words, they're not putting it in the hands of institutional investors, but they're allowing us, the small little retail investors, to have a say in how the company grows. The other two companies that did something like this was Dropbox, and I'm forgetting one other one that did really well, and Spotify. So think about that. So it also shows that they truly believe in their product. So I'm definitely going to be thinking about investing in this company, and we'll just see what price they drop out, because valuation still matters. Valuation matters a lot, and I'll see what they're valued at when they do go public. But yes, I think I'm going to be investing in Roblox. Let me know, will you be investing in Roblox, or are there other companies that you would like me to take a look at as a possible play in the future? I know Unity is another one that's big for a lot of people. With that being said, that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. Do you want more videos like this? I really enjoyed going through this and sharing all the information that I had from this. But I'm gonna catch y'all later. Remember, generosity is always greater than